Wow. For the past few weeks, we have been going through a global phenomenon. You know what that is? Somali fatigue. Wow. I tell you, Somali, they've been put on the worldwide map, boy. Everybody and their mama have been coming out of the woodworks, sharing their experiences, sharing their stories. People are starting to come out and they're speaking up against Somalis, man. And this is not just restricted to America. This is a worldwide thing. I've had people in my comments from South Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Canada, UK. Man, it's endless. It's a worldwide phenomenon. This Somali fatigue, it's really a thing, y'all. I don't know. It seems like not only has this whole fraud that's happened in Minnesota exposed Somalis for what they truly are, it's also just now started a conversation. And it's not like, it's just one group of people that are complaining about Somalis. It's everybody. They are under attack. They are under fire by everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's wrong with these people, but man, especially like some of the comments I've been seeing, and I'm actually in agreement with them. I don't know what's wrong with these people. These people are, I just saw this one video and it's gone viral. This Somali Wendy's employee who just recently got fired, she gives a whole new definition of barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, y'all. Yeah, this woman was serving food barefoot and pregnant. Take a look at this, y'all.
A Somali immigrant employee at a Wendy's burger restaurant was fired after a customer complained that she was working barefoot. The incident happened earlier this week at a Wendy's location in the Midwest. A customer said he walked up to the counter to place an order and immediately noticed the female server had no shoes and no socks on. According to him, she was moving between the kitchen area and the register while completely barefoot. He said it made him lose his appetite, so he recorded a short clip and sent a complaint to Wendy's customer service. Management reacted quickly. Several employees said the woman was taken into the office the same day and was told she could not continue working without shoes. When she explained that her feet were swollen from a possible pregnancy and regular shoes caused pain, managers still decided to remove her from her shift. By the next morning, she was officially terminated. Some people online defended her, saying she looked uncomfortable and needed support, not punishment. They said she was doing her job and not touching food with her feet, so the customer overreacted. Others insisted Wendy's followed company rules. They pointed out that bare feet in a fast food kitchen violate safety standards, risk injuries, and could create legal issues. The debate continues. What do you think about this situation?
Wow. What? I mean, who does that? That is like violating all kinds of health codes, violation, food safety standards. That is just disgusting. And that is the chief complaint that I've seen about a lot of people that have complained about Somalis. And I've seen it myself. Those people are nasty and dirty. And they are schmirly. Not smelly, but you got to put a little bit of schmirly. They are schmirly. I promise you, man. That's disgusting. They don't even have no hygiene about them. They act very uncivilized. And you notice in that video, she didn't even have gloves on. Now, the female manager, the white lady in front of her, she was wearing, but she wasn't wearing gloves. Wow, it's ridiculous. I'm telling you, they're getting exposed for the people that they really are. And it's not favorable. Not favorable at all. Oh.
So let me just get this straight. This guy, who's a Somali migrant living in Minnesota and raped a 12-year-old girl, 12, got the minimum sentence required of 12 years in prison. And when he got said sentence, his mosque wrote a letter to the public excusing the behavior and saying he's an upstanding family values guy on behalf of the Somali community, saying he was a devoted family man and outgoing person, made everyone in the community's life better, his love for his family and kids. And like everyone else migrating to America, he has faced the challenge of starting over in a new culture by learning English, adjusting to a fast-paced system, and raising children. So the rape of a child is really just a cultural difference. It's just something to culturally be aware of. It's excusable because it was his culture before. As a dad of children. Look, maybe it's me. Forgive my cultural ignorance here. But is this mosque just straight up telling you that Somali culture is the kidnapping and rape of 12-year-old girls? And if so, why are we offering asylum to that?
So I did a video that went viral, and it was basically a rant, and I was giving it from the perspective of a naturalized citizen, and I went all in on Ilhan Omar because I was tired of the falsehoods. She had made a statement talking about the fact that she's an American citizen and she can't be deported, but yet she had failed to make a distinction that there are two types of citizens, American citizens. There's natural born and naturalized, and I went ahead and gave the breakdown. If you check my page, you'll see the video. I've pinned it so it can provide you with more context. So the reason for this video is I wanted to kind of clap back on, one video that I had seen that has made its round on social media about a Somali woman who's going on social media ranting about the fact that she's not getting any support. Somalis are not getting support from, whether it's other fellow Africans or, Americans, because they go ahead and they help other people, but now that they need support and they need help, nobody's coming to their aid. Something to that effect, okay? So I want to respond to that, and I'm now talking from the perspective of an African, a Zambian, okay? But I'm talking in the context of an African. Somalis, let me tell you something about Somalis. Somalis are very self-centered group of people. When it comes to Africans, Somalis like to distance themselves from other African nations. And I'm sure I'll get a lot of other Africans in the comments who can vouch for what I'm saying. Time and time again, Somalis, when you tell them that they are Africans, they will quickly debunk that. They will tell you flat out, no, we're not Africans, we're Somalis. What? Are you kidding me? So they don't even want to claim that they are Africans. They will make that distinction and tell you that they are Somalis. But yet, Somalia is in the content of Africa. Okay. So what I've noticed about Somalis, and especially about the video that I had made, I'd seen a lot of comments from other Somalis that came into my comments saying that, I was making all these comments. I should be ashamed of myself as a fellow African, why I'm not supporting our Somalia, our Somali sister. You're an African, but you're not supporting, you're talking down on her. So again, these people are making that distinction, calling themselves Somalis. They're not even saying our African sister. So they want to separate themselves. But yet, these people, if they don't have that support, if you don't support Somalis and you're on the total opposite spectrum in terms of your thinking, they call other Africans slaves, they're calling us monkeys, they're calling us all these disparaging words, all these other Africans disparaging words when we don't support them. And quick to say that they are not Africans, they are Somalis. But now they want to cry for not getting support from other African nations. Like, can you see the hypocrisy here? So Somalis want support from other Africans when it's best convenient for them. Now that they're going through a crisis because now they've been called out for the amount of fraud that they're committing in America and all these shenanigans, all these things that are going on. Now they're calling for other Africans to come to their aid. No, I'll tell you something. When it comes to Ilhan Omar, I don't even claim her as an African. Heck, I don't even claim her as an American because she doesn't act like one. She's not an American. She's only an American by title because she got her citizenship, but even that's in question. So when it comes to Somalis, I'll be damned if you're going to come to me saying that you need support from me because I'm an African when you talk dirty and low down and disparaging to other African nations when they don't side with you. I'm quite honest with you, when it comes to Somalis, from my observation, when it comes to dealing with other Africans, they're not very inviting, they're not very welcoming. They like to exclude themselves. They don't want to include themselves when they see other fellow Africans, instead of being like, hey, let's see we're seeing another African person here, let's have that camaraderie. They don't want to do all that. They want to just stick to themselves. So no, I'm not going to support them just because they are in the continent of Africa and they are Africans, but yet they never want to call themselves Africans. They always want to call themselves Somalis. And quite frankly, I just don't feel like Somalis are a true representations of Africans as a whole, because a lot of African countries, we demonstrate the spirit of Ubuntu. We like that community. We take everybody in. Other African nations, when we see other Africans, we embrace each other, especially when we're in foreign lands. When you come across Somalis in a foreign land and they see other Africans, they don't care. So I don't care about them. I'll be honest. That's why they don't have my support. And I'm not just going to be supporting, Somali just because they're from Africa, but, they don't want to include themselves as other Africans. Nah, sorry, I can't do it. They are very selfish people. They're not nice. They're not nice people. I haven't encountered any nice Somalian. They mean mug you when you look at them, when they hear that you're from Africa, instead of trying to be embracing. Nah, I'm over it. Somalis, you're on your own.
So listen, after everything that's been unfolding in Minnesota, the fraud scandal, the backlash, the reactions, the think pieces, people are officially into what the internet is calling Somali fatigue. And I'm not even exaggerating, guys, like globally. Talk about comment sections on TikToks. Folks are popping up every day with something to say. It's like the whole world suddenly woke up and remembered that they had an opinion about Somalians, whether it's a compliment, a critique, or straight up confusion. Somalis are trending everywhere: timelines, TikTok, Reddit threads, podcasts, you name it. They are in the conversations. Now, before somebody tries to twist my words or clips this out of context, let me clarify something very clearly. Every race of every culture, every community has its own issues. Nobody's perfect. And let me also make it crystal clear that not every Somali person is bad, messy, or involved in anything fraudulent. That's not what we're discussing about here. We're talking about one particular group that's trending, the situation that people are currently calling out, reacting to, or seeking answers about. But right now, the volume of commentary has gone so high that people online are literally saying, yeah, Somali fatigue has officially entered the chat. And honestly, I see it because the reaction videos, the stitches, the duets, the podcast, the investigations, they're all starting to, stack up like episodes in a never-ending Netflix series. So every time you refresh your feed, someone else has, something new to add on these allegations, new stories, new screenshots, new culture debates. Like, it's a lot. And it's not just Americans. It's people from the UK, Canada, Europe, East Africa, Southern Africa. Everybody's chiming in, whether they are discussing the fraud case, the community reactions, the public, the political angle, the cultural dynamics, or their personal experiences. Somalis are at the center of the global conversation right now. Some people are defending, others are criticizing, and a whole lot are just observing what is happening. Me personally, I'm just here sharing what everybody else is talking about because this is the conversation of the moment. And trust me, I have my own thoughts as well based on actual experiences, not TikTok clips. I've got my own experiences and I'll get into that later. But for now, let's keep watching the rest of the reactions because if the last few days are any indication, people are not done talking. I'm telling you, the internet is interneting. The opinions are opinionings, and this storyline is not slowing down like anytime soon. So tell me, what do you guys think about this? Go ahead, drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll come back at the end of this video to give my own final 2 cents. Let's continue watching.
Who are posting video claiming that Minnesota was promised to you 3,000 years ago. That would put you back 1000 BC. You guys have an entire synopsis of where the word Minnesota derived from. How about you explain to the American people how you were promised Minnesota that never existed then to your people? Because 3,000 years ago puts you 1,000 before Christ. Given that y'all got free education, free housing, free food, free internet, may you explain to the rest of the world how you were promised Minnesota when there was no Minnesota then. Hell, Christopher Columbus didn't even find America yet. So how are you promised Minnesota 3,000 years ago? It's a legit question. Can you? I'm waiting.
Don't be following the news. So nobody told me that Somalis in Minnesota, whatever, they're going through it because they are attempting to deport them. I think they voted for this man, right? Oh, okay. It is a fuck around and find out season. Okay. Oh my God. First of all, they say they're not Africans. Oh, they are Arabs. Can you imagine a situation where the Arabs don't want you either? The whites don't want you. The Arabs don't want you. Why can't you all embrace your blackness and accept your fate and fight with us? But no, we're not black. We're not African. We're not Africans. We're not, White people don't want you. Arabs don't want you. Want yourself for the first time in your life. Choose yourself. That's a damn shame.
I'm fairly convinced that they are possibly the most arrogant people who've ever existed on the entire planet. But they're almost a little too arrogant. They say things that just don't naturally roll off the tongue, like this lady.
Yeah. It feels home. I keep telling, I used to say in 2001, whether you like it or not, we're here to stay. So the sooner you get used to us, the sooner we'll all get along. And, suck it up, just what? We're here. We're Americans just like you.
The sooner you get used to us, the sooner we'll all get along. That's the sort of thing you're told as a kid when you're forced to be around somebody you don't want to be around at all. It's not the sort of thing you say to people whose country is giving you a new home. And naturally, this comes into play with Ilhan Omar. Here she is after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, stating that his legacy as an American should be in the dustbin of history, but she should be in Congress.
But I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed every single day.
And as bad as that is, it's not as bad as this new clip of Ilhan Omar.
And I want to underscore the importance of using every single leverage that we have at our arsenal, because we do have a lot of leverage. We need to make sure that those who are collaborating with the authoritarian regime pay a costly price.
Should pay a costly price. I'm sorry. This woman from Somalia who married her brother is stating that anybody who's collaborating with the democratically elected Trump administration here in the United States should pay a costly price.
So as we wrap up this video, let's just call it what it is. Right now, the entire global conversation feels like it has Somalians standing in this imaginary, let's just call it imaginary courtroom, where every country, every culture, every timeline suddenly has something to say about it. It's like people around the world are representing their Somali experience as evidence, whether it's good, bad, confusing, or downright complicated. And again, this isn't coming from nowhere. Somalis are trending because of what's happening in Minnesota and how that incident opened the floodgates. People are connecting dots, sharing stories, revisiting encounters, and comparing notes like they are trying to make sense of a long-term pattern. The whole situation has taken on a life of its own. I'm not here to demonize anybody. I'm not here to paint an entire community with one brush. I am clear about that. Every race, every nation, every group has its own problems, its own good, its own bad, its own complicated chapters. And like I always say, not every Somali is part of that, what people are discussing right now. There are good Somali individuals. Okay, let me make that clear as well. I've met one or two along the way who were generally, kind, respectful, and open. But what I'm talking about, what we're talking about today is a broader trend many people have noticed. And honestly, it's something I've personally experienced too. I'm not talking about this out of nowhere. Like I've lived near, the Somali community before. So let me touch on that just on two things consistently that stood out for me, not just in Minnesota, not just online, but here in Africa on the ground, where you think the culture distance would be smaller. If anything, the gap feels even wider. You see, one thing I've noticed is that Somali communities tend to isolate themselves. They form these small, tight, closed off circles, and once they settle into an area, it starts to feel like they've claimed as, like it's theirs. And I'm not saying community in the normal sense. I'm saying territorial, like ownership. Even here in Zambia, in Dola specifically, it's a town. It's a small town. Like I'm from there. There's this small area where almost everyone is Somali, and stepping into that space as a Zambian, as an Africa, as someone who belongs in their own country, you'd think the energy would be welcoming, but no. The vibe you get is you're not one of us, you're in our space. And they show it with no words, but with body language, with looks, with behavior. It's subtle, but it's real, guys. The only time that energy switches, and let's be honest here, is when you want to support their business. Suddenly the door opens, suddenly you're seen, you're acknowledged, you're treated differently. And listen, business is business, okay? People always show more interest when money is involved, but when that becomes the main and sometimes the only point of engagement, it says a lot. And I know some people won't like hearing this, but I'm not basing this on TikTok narratives or viral clips. I'm basing it on lived experience. I've walked into those shops. I've walked past those communities. I've felt that shift in the air, and I'm not alone. Many Africans across multiple countries have said the exact same thing. Whether we are talking about Zambia, Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania, or Malawi, it's shared observation, and the conversation doesn't even end there. Another thing that comes up again, not with every Somali though, but with many, is the argument about not being black. They distance themselves from blackness so confidently that it leaves us standing there like, what was that exactly? What was that about? You can't demand community solidarity or protection when it benefits you, then turn around and reject the very identity of the people you're expecting it from. That's where the confusion comes in. That is where people start saying, so what choice are we left with here but to just watch, remain quiet and observe from the distance? And that's why I say this topic is very sensitive, very sensitive. It requires careful wording because people here, if people hear people will hear what they want to hear, okay, and they twist what they don't want to accept. But these are valid conversations happening everywhere right now. People are sharing experiences, not hate. People pointing out patterns. It's not bigotry. People discussing social behavior is not an attack. It's reflection. It's observation. It's dialogue. And I think it's long overdue. So as Somali fatigue settles into the global conversation, I want you guys to remember, I'm not here to push negativity. I'm not here to generalize. I'm simply contributing to a discussion the world is already having with honesty, with context, and with first-hand experience. Whether you agree or disagree, whether your encounters have been similar or totally different, your voice matters as well. So you guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments section down below. Go ahead, share your thoughts, your experiences, your opinions. Respectfully, this is a heavy topic and navigating it requires maturity and understanding. But it's a conversation that's happening and it's not slowing down anytime soon. Yeah, so let's share our experiences, let's talk about it, and let's be respectful about it, Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll definitely see you in my next video. Please, guys, stay peaceful. I'm tired.